Beloved chosen one, listen carefully because what I have to share with you today is not just another story. This is not a tale you will hear and forget. This is about you. This is the moment that speaks to your very soul, to the truth that has always been inside of you, waiting to be awakened. You, the one who has always felt different, the one who has never fit into the mold that the world tried to impose on you. You were never meant to blend in or follow the crowd. You were born to stand out, to shine a light that the darkness cannot ignore. For too long, the forces of darkness have had the power to manipulate, deceive, and control. But now, something unimaginable has happened. A devil has fallen in love with you. Yes, you heard that right, a devil, the master of deception, has become captivated by your light. Why? Not because you share their nature. No, that would be too easy. They are drawn to you because you embody everything they can never be. You are everything they fear, everything they are not. You are unshaken, unwavering, and fearless in the face of the very forces that have torn others apart. The truth is, while others may falter, while they may bend under pressure or become blinded by the illusions that the enemy weaves, you remain steadfast. You stand firm, rooted in the truth that has been placed within you. No matter how fierce the storms of life may get, you remain unmovable. That is why the darkness is so entranced by you. They thought they had seen it all, they believed they could break anyone, but not you. They have tried their best tricks, their most cunning schemes, but with you, nothing works. You see, the devil has faced kings, queens, the wise, and the mighty. They've twisted the hearts of the pure, manipulated the strong, and watched the righteous fall from grace. Yet with you, everything is different. The weapons they used to bring down entire empires, deception, temptation, fear, have no power over you. Why? Because you do not play their game. You do not bow to their threats or give in to their lies. You simply are. And that, my beloved chosen one, is what scares them the most. When the devil came for you, they brought their strongest weapons, thinking they could use them to make you fall. They thought they could take your light and turn it into darkness, your faith and turn it into doubt. But instead, what they found was a force unlike anything they have ever encountered before. You are a mirror to them, reflecting back their deepest fears and weaknesses. Where others might crumble, you stand firm, unwavering, and unshaken. But this is not just about what you have endured. It's about what the devil has encountered in you, a force of nature, an earth angel, chosen by God to bring light where darkness once ruled. You have become their greatest challenge. They thought they were the predators, but now they find themselves trapped in their own web, unable to escape your light. As you stand in your truth, the devil begins to realize something they never expected: their usual tactics of deception, manipulation, and fear no longer work. They can no longer hide behind their lies, for you see through them. They can no longer twist reality, for you walk in the truth. Every whisper of temptation, every false promise they offer, falls flat against your unwavering spirit. What they fail to understand, what they never expected, is that you do not fight them with force. You do not react in anger or fear. You simply stand firm in your truth, in the light that has always been within you. And that, more than anything, terrifies them. They expected to break you. Instead, they find themselves pulled toward you, unable to escape the light that radiates from you. Your mere presence unsettles them because you are not like anyone they've encountered before. You do not need to fight. You do not need to engage. You simply stand, and that is enough to make them question everything. Now, as they confront you, they face a question that they have never had to ask before: why does this light not burn out? Why does it continue to shine, even in the darkest of places? You, my beloved chosen one, are the answer to that question. You are the light that the darkness cannot defeat. Your existence, your presence, disrupts everything they have ever known. And they are helpless to stop it. The devil has always thrived on manipulation, fear, and deception. They have bent the wills of kings and queens, controlled the hearts of many, and turned even the most faithful into pawns. But they have never encountered someone like you. Someone who does not need to fight, someone who does not need to control. You are not just another person walking through life. You are an earth angel, an emissary of divine light sent to illuminate the darkness, to stand firm in a world that has been deceived by the shadows. This is not just about a battle of light against dark. This is not about good versus evil. This is about something far more profound, the collision of truth with illusion. And in this moment, you stand unyielding, a force to be reckoned with. The devil, who has always thought of themselves as the master of deception, now finds themselves exposed in your presence. You, the earth angel, have forced them to confront their own limitations. You are not here to destroy them. You are here to expose them, to show them the truth they have long tried to bury. So now, as we journey forward, I ask you, are you ready? Because what you are about to discover will change everything. This is only the beginning. And in this journey, you will uncover truths about yourself, about the power you hold, and about the world around you that will shift the course of everything. If this message resonates with you, if it stirs something deep within your soul, I invite you to comment, "I am the light," below as a declaration of your awakening. This isn't just a statement, it is a powerful recognition of the truth within you. You are no longer in the shadows, no longer deceived. You are walking in the light, and that light will never be extinguished. And if this truth has moved you, don't forget to like this video and share it with others who need to hear it. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on future messages that will continue to illuminate the path before us. Together, we are shining brighter and making an impact, one light at a time. Now, let's move forward, for what you are about to learn is not just about you. It's about the world. And it's time for that world to see the truth that you hold within. The time has come for the chosen ones to rise. And this is your moment. When you walk through life, you may sometimes feel like you're just another person, blending in with the crowd. But let me tell you something, chosen one, you are not like the others. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to simply follow the path laid before you. You are an earth angel, and that means you carry a presence so powerful, so pure, that even the deepest darkness cannot help but be drawn to you. The devil, that ancient master of deception, has spent millennia perfecting its craft. It has taken down kings, queens, prophets, and rulers. It has whispered lies into the ears of the strong and brought even the wisest to their knees. It has defeated those who once stood tall and unshaken in the face of adversity. Marilyn Monroe, with all her beauty and fame, was overtaken by loneliness and despair, swallowed by the very darkness that had once adored her. Michael Jackson, whose voice moved the world, could not escape the inner demons and accusations that clouded his life. These people had the world's attention and power, but they fell victim to the devil's schemes. And the devil thought it could do the same to you. But here's the truth, chosen one, you are not like them. You are different. Where the devil has used lies, temptation, and fear to bring down the mighty, it has met its match in you. It has tried every trick, every weapon, every snare it has used to destroy others. But none of it has worked on you. You stand unshaken. You are unmoved. You don't engage in their games. You don't play by their rules. Where others have stumbled, you remain standing tall, your light burning bright and unwavering. The devil thought it could deceive you, confuse you, and break you, but it found something it never expected. You are not like the others because you see through its lies. You see beyond the illusions it creates. Where it thrives in manipulation and deceit, you stand firm in truth. It cannot deceive you. It cannot make you falter. You are not merely resistant, you are a living testament to the power of light in the darkest of places. Isaiah 54 verse 17 declares, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn." This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their vindication is from me. This is not just a verse, it is a declaration of divine protection, a promise that no matter what weapons the enemy forms, they will not succeed against you. The devil's weapons, whether they are lies, threats, or temptations, will fail in the face of your unyielding presence. And what does this mean for you, chosen one? It means that you don't have to fight back. You don't need to raise a hand in defense. Your very existence, your presence, is a weapon more powerful than any the devil can wield. Your light shines so brightly that the darkness can't even approach it. The devil has no power over you, not because you are stronger, but because your light exposes its weaknesses. Where the darkness seeks to manipulate and control, you simply stand in the truth, and that is enough to shatter everything the enemy has built. In fact, your light has made you a target. The devil is obsessed with you because it has never met anyone like you before. It has manipulated and deceived so many, but it cannot make you bend to its will. Your very being, your light, your truth, they are all things the devil cannot control, cannot understand, and cannot overcome. It has tried to break you, but all it has done is reveal its own limitations. And now, for the first time, it is not you who is broken. It is the devil, trapped in its own web, unable to escape the power of your unwavering presence. The devil is a master manipulator, but it has never encountered someone like you. When it whispers its lies, you see through them. When it throws its temptations in your path, you walk right past them, unshaken. And when it tries to instill fear in your heart, you stand firm, knowing that fear has no place in the light. The devil has thrown its strongest weapons at you, but none have worked. You are an earth angel, unshaken, unmovable, and impossible to break. So, let me ask you this, if the devil couldn't break you, what do you think is happening to it now? As it faces the light of your presence, it is starting to realize something it has never considered before: it is powerless against you. You have exposed its tricks, its lies, its illusions. You have forced it to confront the truth, something it has never had to do before. What happens when the devil is faced with someone who refuses to be deceived? What happens when the master of deception meets the unshakable force of truth? The answer is simple: the devil begins to crumble. The devil cannot fight against the truth. And the truth is this: you are the light. You are untouchable. You are the chosen one, and the devil cannot win against you. So, chosen one, if they couldn't break you, what do you think is happening to them now? What happens when the deceiver faces the one who refuses to be deceived? What happens when the manipulator meets the force of truth? The devil has never met anyone like you, and now it must face the consequences of its own deceit. The game has changed, and this time, it is not the devil in control. It is you. In a world ruled by darkness, the devil has a well-worn playbook. It uses the same weapons again and again, and it has taken down some of the most powerful, revered figures in history. Deception. Fear. Temptation. These tools have shattered the most brilliant minds, torn apart the strongest spirits, and humbled the mightiest rulers. Marilyn Monroe, with all her beauty and fame, was devoured by loneliness and despair. Michael Jackson, a musical genius, was consumed by inner demons and external pressures. Kings, queens, prophets, and leaders, no one is immune to the devil's methods. The darkness has had its way for centuries, luring and breaking those who seemed untouchable. But you, chosen one, are different. The weapons the devil has used to bring down giants have failed against you. The lies, the fears, the doubts, they all fall short when they face you. You are not like the others. Where they have succeeded, the devil has met its match. And this time, it's not you who is broken. It is the devil who finds itself powerless in the presence of your light. You didn't crumble under pressure. You didn't give in to fear. You didn't fall for the lies. What they thought would break you only made you stronger. You didn't fight back. You simply stood there, unwavering, your light burning brighter than ever. And in that stillness, the devil found itself confused. Where it had expected fear, it found strength. Where it had hoped for submission, it found defiance. Where it had hoped for destruction, it found resilience. And now, it's not just that the devil cannot break you, it is that the devil cannot stop thinking about you. The devil, in all its cunning, has no understanding of stillness, of peace, of light that does not fight back but simply exists. And that is exactly why it's become obsessed with you. You didn't engage in their games, didn't follow their rules, didn't react as it expected you to. Instead, you simply were. You stood firm in your light, and that light became a force so powerful that the darkness could no longer ignore it. Just like Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison enduring unimaginable isolation, humiliation, and injustice, you didn't let the darkness change you. Mandela didn't fight back with hatred or anger. He didn't retaliate. Instead, he carried a light within him that could never be extinguished. When he emerged from those years of captivity, the very people who had imprisoned him were forced to bow before his unwavering presence. His light was so powerful that it could not be dimmed, no matter how hard they tried. Just like Mandela, you don't need to fight the darkness, you simply need to stand in your truth. You don't need to raise your fist in anger, or lash out in fear, or retaliate with cruelty. You simply are. Your presence is enough. The devil may have tried to break you, but it could not. And now, it has become obsessed with you. It cannot understand how you remain unbroken, unshaken. Your stillness is a force greater than any weapon it could ever wield. The devil is accustomed to facing weakness, to seeing fear and doubt in the eyes of its victims. But when it looks at you, it sees something it cannot control. It sees a light that doesn't flicker in the face of darkness. It sees a presence that doesn't bend or break. And it is that presence that has the devil so transfixed. You are not fighting a battle. You are simply existing in your truth, and in doing so, you are changing the battlefield entirely. The devil is the predator, but in the face of your unshakable presence, it is no longer the one in control. You have become the enigma the devil cannot solve. It has faced kings and conquerors, warriors and prophets, all of whom have fallen into its web. But with you, it finds itself trapped, unable to comprehend your resilience. Your stillness has become the loudest resistance it has ever faced. And so, the question lingers, what happens when the predator cannot look away from the prey? The darkness is no longer trying to defeat you, it is now fixated on understanding you. The devil has never encountered a force like yours before, and it finds itself pulled into your orbit, unable to escape. And now, it is beginning to realize something it never considered before, the power of the light you carry cannot be extinguished. It can only be revealed. So, what is it in you, chosen one, that makes the darkness so obsessed with you? What is it about your light that makes the devil unable to walk away? And what will it mean for the devil, when it finally has to confront the truth that your presence is not something to be controlled, but something that transforms everything it touches? The devil tried to break you, but instead, it has found itself drawn to you, unable to look away. It is now your presence, your light, that holds the power to reshape everything. And now, with that power, what will you do with it? The stage is set for something greater, something that the darkness cannot stop. The question is not whether the devil will break, it's whether the devil will be transformed by the very light it once tried to consume. You are not like the others. You don't engage in the battles the devil expects you to fight. No shouting. No fear. No anger. You refuse to play the game of darkness, and that is exactly what confuses it the most. In a world where strength is often measured by action, by how loud you shout, how fiercely you strike, how much control you impose, the true power of non-engagement is an enigma. The world is accustomed to the idea that only by fighting back, only through reaction, can you overcome the forces of darkness. But you, chosen one, know better. You understand that your strength does not lie in fighting back in the way the world expects. It lies in your ability to stand firm, to remain unmoved, to hold your ground without ever raising a weapon. Your stillness becomes a weapon in itself, a weapon that the darkness cannot comprehend. The devil, accustomed to the chaos of human emotions, anger, fear, frustration, cannot understand your ability to remain composed, to not react. It expected you to rise up in opposition, to fight back with everything you had. But instead, you simply stand in the light, and in doing so, you become a force greater than any weapon the devil could ever wield. Your refusal to engage, your unwavering presence, forces the darkness to confront itself. In the wilderness, when Satan tried to tempt Jesus with fame, power, and material wealth, Jesus didn't fight back with anger. He didn't curse or lash out. Instead, he spoke the word of God calmly, unwaveringly, and the devil had no choice but to retreat. Jesus didn't get caught in the devil's games, nor did he try to defeat the devil through force. He stood firm in his truth, in his light, and the darkness could not touch him. This is the essence of non-engagement. The devil expects you to be swayed by temptation, to crumble under fear, or to lose yourself in the illusions it creates. But you, chosen one, you are not like the others. You are not swayed. You do not retaliate. You simply stand. You stand in your truth, in the light that the darkness cannot fathom. And that, my dear friend, is exactly what terrifies the enemy. The world expects you to respond with anger or fear when it comes against you. It expects you to react. But when you do not, when you simply remain steadfast in the truth of who you are, the enemy is forced to face itself. It is no longer in control. It no longer dictates the terms of the battle. It becomes the one who must react. It is no longer the predator, and you are no longer the prey. The devil is no longer the one in control, because your silence, your stillness, forces it to look inward. It is no longer fighting against you, it is fighting against itself. This non-engagement is not weakness. It is strength, not of the flesh, but of the spirit. It is a strength that is unshakable, undisturbed by the chaos that the devil tries to create. In standing still, you not only resist the devil's games, you make them irrelevant. You remove yourself from the playing field, and in doing so, you win the battle before it even starts. The devil may try every trick it has, using lies, fear, and temptation to bring you down. But you are not like the others. You do not fall for its deceptions. You do not rise to its challenges. Instead, you stand in your light, and your light exposes everything. It exposes the lies for what they are. It exposes the fear for what it is. And in doing so, the darkness can no longer thrive. This is the paradox of non-engagement. The enemy expects you to react, to fight, to struggle. But when you do not, it is forced to face itself. The enemy cannot defeat you because you are not part of its plan. You do not play by its rules. You stand firm in the truth, and that is where your strength lies. In a world where everyone is rushing to fight, to prove themselves, to react, you have learned the power of stillness. And that power makes you unstoppable. The devil cannot handle you because it does not understand how you can stand without reacting. It does not know what to do when you refuse to play its game. Your stillness, your unwavering presence, makes you a force that the darkness cannot control. What happens when the devil cannot control you? What happens when its most powerful weapon, manipulation, is rendered useless? The darkness no longer has power over you because you refuse to be a part of its game. And that is what makes you dangerous to it. You are a living contradiction. You do not fight, but you win. You do not respond, but you are victorious. So, chosen one, what will you do with this power? What will you do with the strength that lies in your stillness, in your ability to stand firm in the light without reacting to the chaos around you? You have learned the greatest lesson of all. Your power is not in what you do, but in what you don't do. You don't engage. You simply stand, and in standing, you change everything. And now, as you stand in your truth, the devil must ask itself, what is it about this person that I cannot overcome? And as it asks that question, you stand unshaken, unyielding, the light of truth in a world full of shadows. You are not here to destroy, but to reveal. You are not a warrior wielding swords or casting curses. You are a spiritual mirror, standing firm in truth, reflecting the very essence of what the darkness truly is. When the enemy stands before you, they cannot hide behind illusions. Their masks begin to crumble, and the truth shines through, exposing them for who they really are. For centuries, the forces of darkness have manipulated the world, cloaking themselves in deceit and shadows. They've controlled minds, turned hearts, and whispered their lies to the rulers of this world. But when they face you, they meet something entirely different. They meet a light that doesn't confront them with violence or anger, but with the unwavering truth of who they are and who you are. In this world, the devil has always thrived in the shadows, using the fear of the unknown to manipulate and control. But with you, darkness meets its match. You are not intimidated by their lies, and you do not fall prey to their temptations. You are a mirror, not just reflecting the world as it is, but exposing the truth beneath the surface, making it impossible for the darkness to hide. You don't need to engage in their battles, their lies, or their games. All you need to do is stand in your truth, and the darkness will be forced to confront itself. They have seen the mighty fall, they have seen kings and queens, prophets and rulers, all fall to their deceitful games. But with you, they face something they cannot understand. You are not part of their game, you are the truth that exposes their lies, and that is why they cannot stand in your presence. You don't need to fight to win, your presence alone is victory. The light you carry doesn't just shine on the surface, it penetrates the deepest parts of the soul. You have the ability to see through the facades, the illusions, and the falsehoods. And when you look into the darkness, you don't see fear or weakness. You see the truth, the brokenness, the fear, the wounds that the darkness has tried to hide. You see them for what they truly are. This is why the enemy can't stand you. The darkness has never been forced to confront itself before. It has always been able to manipulate and control, hidden in the shadows, but when it stands before you, it must face the truth. The darkness cannot stand in the light, and your light is relentless. It pierces through the masks, tearing away the layers that have kept the truth hidden for so long. As John 1 verse 5 says, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." You are that light. You don't need to fight the darkness because your light is the victory. The darkness cannot overcome it because it has no power over you. It can try to hide, it can try to deceive, but it cannot escape the truth that you embody. When you stand in the truth of who you are, the enemy is forced to confront itself. It can no longer hide behind the lies and illusions it has used for so long. It is exposed, vulnerable, and unable to stand in the face of your light. The power you carry is not physical strength, it is the power of truth, and that truth is what makes you unshakable. You don't need to attack, your very presence in the truth is enough to make the darkness retreat. The forces of darkness have always operated in secrecy, in manipulation, in control. But you, chosen one, have something they can never have. You carry the light of truth, and that light is a mirror that exposes everything. The darkness cannot escape the reflection you provide. It can try to run, it can try to hide, but it will always be drawn back to you. Because no matter how much they try to avoid the light, it will always reveal the truth. You are the mirror that the darkness cannot escape. You stand in your truth, and by doing so, you force the enemy to face its own reflection. And that reflection is something they can no longer deny. You have become the very thing they fear, the truth that they cannot control. You are not here to destroy them. You are here to reveal them. And in that revelation, the darkness is undone. It is no longer in control. It no longer holds power over you or anyone else. The truth you stand in is the very thing that makes the darkness tremble, because it cannot hide from the light you carry. As you stand firm in your truth, the darkness will be forced to confront itself. It will no longer be able to deceive you or those around you. It will no longer be able to hide in the shadows. And when the darkness faces the truth, it is powerless. The light you carry is unshakable, unyielding, and eternal. And with that light, you have already won. In the spiritual realm, the true battle is not fought with physical weapons or external forces. The real battle is one of perception, where the forces of darkness attempt to deceive by manipulating the mind through illusions, false beliefs, desires for fame, and distorted emotions. These illusions are powerful, but they are nothing more than smoke and mirrors, designed to distract you from the truth. As an earth angel, you do not fall into their traps, for you are not living in illusion. You see beyond what others perceive, and it is in that seeing that your true power lies. The enemy, though clever and cunning, cannot deceive you because you have passed through the shadow of the darkness and come out unscathed. The key to this battle lies not in fighting or resisting what the world presents, but in seeing what is truly real. This is where most souls fall. They crumble because they believe the lies, they accept the illusions as truth, and they are led astray. But you, chosen one, you have walked through the fire of temptation and darkness, and you are not swayed by what is false. You know the truth, and it has set you free. Unlike others who succumb to the traps set by the enemy, you have seen through them. You were not fooled by the shimmering illusions of wealth, fame, or temporary power. You recognize the emptiness behind them, the hollow promises that always leave the soul empty. And this recognition has made you different. Where others are distracted, you remain focused on what is true. You are not swayed by the surface-level distractions, and because of this, the enemy cannot control you. Your strength does not come from fighting, it comes from knowing. When you understand the nature of the battle, the enemy can no longer manipulate you. You have faced the darkness, you have seen the lies, and you have emerged stronger, with your true self intact. You are no longer a target for deception. The enemy can try to distract you with its false promises, but you see them for what they truly are, empty and hollow. The darkness can only manipulate those who believe in its power. It preys on the weaknesses of those who do not know the truth. But you are different. You have walked through the valley of shadows, you have faced the darkest parts of your own soul, and you have come out unbroken. No illusion can fool you now because you know what is real and what is not. You have walked the path of truth, and it has made you untouchable. As John 8 verse 32 says, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Your freedom does not come from running away from the darkness, but from confronting it, seeing it for what it is, and refusing to be manipulated by it. The truth is your weapon, and with it, you have broken free from the grip of the enemy. You do not need to fight. The truth within you is all you need to defeat the illusions that the enemy seeks to impose on you. You do not need to argue with the darkness or try to prove your worth. Your very existence in the truth is a declaration of victory. The lies of the enemy cannot hold sway over you because you do not believe them. You see through the veil of deception, and that is where your power lies. You have chosen to stand firm in the truth, and that truth is stronger than any illusion the enemy can create. The battle is not about fighting or proving yourself. It is about standing in the truth and allowing that truth to free you. The enemy will try to shake you, to lead you astray with illusions of power, wealth, and control, but you know the truth. And that truth makes you unshakable. No matter what the world or the enemy throws at you, you stand firm in your understanding. You do not react to the illusion, you stand in the truth, and that is where the enemy loses. The greatest victory is not in fighting the darkness, but in standing in the light of truth. When you refuse to believe the lies, when you refuse to be manipulated, the darkness has no power over you. You are no longer a victim of the enemy's schemes, you are the one who exposes those schemes for what they truly are. And in doing so, you have already won. The truth you carry inside you is the light that will always shine in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it. This battle is not about defeating the darkness, it is about embracing the truth. When you embrace the truth, the illusions fall away. The enemy may try to deceive you, but with your unwavering faith in the truth, you are not swayed. You know who you are, and nothing can take that away from you. The battle is over when you choose to stand in the truth, and that is the victory that cannot be taken from you. In the realm of spiritual warfare, the battle is not about strength, force, or dominance. It is about understanding. The enemy, the darkness, does not fear the weapons or words you bring. What truly unsettles them is your ability to understand them deeply, to see them for what they are. The darkness is used to being misunderstood, ignored, or feared, but it has never before been truly understood, until now. You, the chosen one, possess a rare and powerful gift, the ability to see through the layers of deceit that the enemy has carefully crafted. You are not trying to fight the darkness, you are simply standing in the light, observing and understanding. And in that understanding, the darkness begins to unravel. Your very presence makes them face themselves in a way they have never had to before. You are not attacking, you are not defending, you are simply existing in your truth, and that truth is so powerful, it forces the darkness to show itself. In this battle, the enemy does not know how to react to you. They are used to being fought, to being resisted. But your approach is different. You do not engage in the game they play. You simply look at them, not with disgust, but with understanding. Your eyes, your presence, reflect their true nature. They cannot hide from it, and in that moment of revelation, they begin to fall apart. The truth you carry does not need to be shouted or proclaimed, it simply is. And that is what makes it so powerful. Much like Princess Diana, whose kindness and compassion spoke louder than any battle cry, you too possess a gentleness that is far more potent than any force. Diana did not try to change the world with power, she changed it with the purity of her heart and the strength of her understanding. Her presence alone was enough to make the world reconsider its treatment of the vulnerable. You, too, are a reflection of that kind of quiet, transformative power. Your presence forces even the darkest souls to reckon with their actions, their choices, and ultimately, their own darkness. The key to your power lies in your ability to understand. You are not trying to change the enemy or even defeat them. You are simply showing them their reflection. And in that reflection, they see their true nature, the lies they have told, the masks they have worn, and the truth they have avoided for so long. You are not a force they can defeat, you are a mirror they cannot escape. When you stand in the truth, you become a mirror that cannot be distorted. The enemy's lies, manipulations, and falsehoods are exposed for what they are. They cannot hide behind their illusions anymore because the light you bring forces them to face themselves. This is not an ordinary confrontation, this is an encounter with truth, and truth always prevails. In John 1 verse 5, it is written, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." You, chosen one, are that light. You are not here to conquer the darkness with weapons or force, but with the simple power of truth. Your presence exposes the lies, the deceit, and the fear that have kept the darkness alive. And as the darkness is confronted with your light, it begins to break down. It has no defense against your unwavering understanding. The enemy is undone, not by your strength, but by your ability to understand and see through the lies they have built their power upon. When you understand something, it no longer has control over you. The enemy cannot manipulate you because you see through their deception. You stand firm in your truth, and that truth becomes a weapon that the darkness cannot stand against. In this spiritual battle, your understanding is your greatest strength. It is not through force, nor through anger, nor through resistance that you prevail, it is through your deep understanding of the enemy and the light that you carry. Your mere presence is enough to make the darkness recoil, to make it reveal itself for what it truly is. And in that revelation, it loses its power over you. You are not here to save the darkness or change it. You are here to illuminate it. You are the light that forces the shadows to reveal their true nature. And once the darkness is exposed, it has no choice but to either change or disintegrate. With the full knowledge that your light is more powerful when it is preserved, not poured out recklessly. And if ever you forget your role in this sacred encounter, remember this: you were not made to be conquered. You were made to catalyze. You are not here to be overtaken by darkness. You are here to transmute it into something greater. Not by becoming like it, but by refusing to become anything other than who you are. Stand tall, Earth Angel. You are not a sacrifice. You are a mirror. And your presence alone can change everything, without losing yourself in the process. You were never here to conquer. You were never sent to destroy. And despite everything they did, every attempt to manipulate, seduce, silence, or possess you, your response was never vengeance, but presence. This journey, from beginning to end, was never about triumph in the way the world defines it. It was about something much deeper: revelation, illumination, and perhaps most of all, remembrance. You stood before darkness not as a warrior with weapons drawn, not as a victim begging for relief, but as a force of wholeness. A mirror. A light. A presence that could not be bought, broken, or turned. And now you know. The encounter between the earth angel and the devil was never a tale of domination or defeat. It was the collision of two truths that the world has long tried to separate: light and dark, good and evil, truth and illusion. But you, unlike anyone else, didn't fall for the division. You saw through the mask. You stepped into the storm and remained intact. You didn't seek to punish darkness, you simply held your ground. And in doing so, you did what no one else had done before. You reflected. You revealed. You remembered. Your power was never in shouting louder, fighting harder, or burning brighter. Your power was in your stillness. Your refusal to be drained. Your ability to walk into chaos and not lose your center. You didn't bend to control. You didn't chase validation. You didn't trade your essence to be understood. Instead, you became something the darkness never expected: a witness. Not to their destruction, but to their potential. You showed them that even the deepest shadows, when met with presence and truth, begin to crack and unravel. Not through force. Not through fear. But through reflection. Through love that doesn't ask for anything in return. Through light that does not plead for approval. Through truth that does not shout, but simply is. And that's what terrified them. Because you weren't trying to save them, but your presence made salvation feel possible. You didn't demand they change, but your authenticity made the mask unbearable. You didn't fight, but you still won. Now, this moment becomes a turning point. Not just for them. Not just for the battle between darkness and light. But for you. Because now, fully aware, fully awake, fully embodied, you are faced with a sacred invitation. What will you do with this power? This power that came not from domination, but from integration. From owning every piece of you, the divine and the shadow, the healer and the warrior, the soft and the unshakable. This power that cannot be copied, because it is born from your wholeness. Will you continue to stand in your truth, unwavering, uncompromising, illuminated from the inside out? Will you allow this journey to become more than your own? Will you let it become a lighthouse for others still lost in illusion? Because this was never just about your story. It was never just about the devil who fell in love with your light. It was always about what that encounter revealed. It was about how even the most cunning force of deception couldn't hide when faced with truth that didn't flinch. And now the world is watching. Not to see if you win, but to see if you remain. Remain grounded. Remain clear. Remain undivided. Because in a world ruled by illusion, where falsehood is glorified and masks are currency, your authenticity is radical. Your presence is prophetic. Your refusal to become what they expect is what makes you unstoppable. So if this message touched something deep within your soul, if it reminded you of who you are and what you carry, I invite you to help this light spread. Share this video with someone who needs to see themselves through a different lens. Subscribe to this channel so you can continue walking this path with clarity and support. And in the comments, speak your truth, not as a whisper, but as a declaration. Write. I am not here to conquer. I am here to reflect. Let that be your offering. Let that be your vow. Because your journey was never about breaking the darkness. It was about bringing balance. Not erasing the contrast, but honoring the harmony it creates. Not standing above, but standing whole. And now, from the deepest part of your soul, you know. This is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a revelation. So again I ask, with all the reverence and weight this moment holds, what will you do with this power? You are not fighting against it, you are simply showing it the truth. And the truth, as always, will set you free. Your light is a reflection of divine truth. The enemy may try to manipulate, deceive, and overpower, but it cannot stand against the clarity of your understanding. Your presence, your simple being, becomes the weapon that destroys the darkness. And in that destruction, the enemy is undone, not by force, but by the profound understanding that you carry. In this spiritual battle, you are not a soldier wielding a sword. You are a beacon of light, a mirror reflecting the truth, and in that reflection, the darkness has no choice but to face itself. It cannot hide from you, and it cannot escape the truth you bring. And that, chosen one, is your greatest strength, the ability to stand firm in the light of truth, and let the darkness fall apart under its weight. In the spiritual world, there exists an intriguing paradox. Despite your complete lack of effort to bind, coerce, or control, the darkness simply cannot escape the pull of the light you carry. It's a magnetic force, pulling the very essence of the shadow toward you, not through domination, but through something far more powerful, pure attraction. This isn't a battle of force, it's a cosmic law of spiritual gravity. You are not chasing after the darkness, but instead, you stand unwavering in your light, and the shadows have no choice but to approach, drawn to the very essence of your being. You do not seek to bind or enslave the darkness. In fact, you do not even need to speak a word to keep it in check. You do not intimidate or threaten it, there are no empty words of condemnation. The light you carry is not an instrument of judgment, but rather a beacon of truth that simply radiates from within you. The very presence of this truth is enough to expose the darkness for what it is. It no longer has the power to hide behind illusions or masks. Your presence alone unravels it, revealing the lies it has clung to for eons. There is no need for force or accusation, your stillness, your calm, your unwavering truth, renders the darkness powerless. The fascinating reality is that the enemy, in all its deception and manipulation, has never encountered anyone like you. The tactics it has used against others, fear, anger, control, and submission, no longer work against you. The darkness does not know how to handle your presence. It is not because you fight or resist in the conventional sense, it is because you do not react. You do not fear, you do not seek control, and you certainly do not wear the masks that others do. You simply are. And it is this pure existence, this embodiment of light and truth, that renders the darkness incapable of understanding you. It is drawn to you, but not with the intent of destroying you. It is pulled in because it has never met a force quite like yours, a force that does not yield, does not back down, and cannot be manipulated. The darkness has always been the manipulator, the predator, the one who controls. But now, it finds itself in an entirely new position. It is not the one who holds power anymore. It is drawn to you, not to subdue you, but to understand you. It is as though the light you carry is a puzzle the darkness has never been able to solve. It comes closer, but it doesn't want to hurt you. It wants to understand your strength, to figure out how it works, and maybe even to find a way to bring itself closer to it, although it doesn't fully understand why. This is where the true power lies, not in fighting, not in resistance, but in your very being. You are not the one trying to conquer, you are the one who simply exists, and in that existence, you shine. Your light doesn't need to prove anything, it doesn't need to defend itself, it doesn't need to fight to be seen. And yet, it is in this quiet, calm presence that the darkness finds itself drawn to you. The light you carry is its undoing. It sees itself in the mirror of your existence and is forced to reckon with its own darkness. It is inescapable. Your strength lies not in your resistance but in your stillness. The world, and especially the forces of darkness, are accustomed to souls that fight, that rage, that struggle against what they fear. But you are different. You do not react with fear. You do not rise to challenge the enemy. You simply stand firm, rooted in your light, and that is enough to make the darkness recoil. There is nothing for the darkness to grasp. It cannot control you because you do not play by its rules. You are an anomaly, an enigma, one that the darkness cannot comprehend and, more importantly, cannot conquer. Your light does not fight, yet it stands as an immovable force, one that refuses to be dimmed, no matter how hard the darkness tries. In this presence, the darkness does not know how to act. It is accustomed to being the predator, the one in control, the one who strikes fear into the hearts of others. But with you, it is no longer the hunter. It is now the one that is drawn into the light, searching for something it cannot find, something it does not understand. It cannot break free because it is hypnotized, ensnared by the very thing it has always tried to avoid, the purity and truth of your existence. What makes this dynamic so powerful is that you are not forcing the darkness to stay. You are not using power or aggression to keep it at bay. You are not even trying to save it. You are simply standing in your truth, unmovable and unwavering. And in doing so, you become the very thing that forces the darkness to confront itself. It is a spiritual paradox. The light that you carry does not chase the darkness, but instead, the darkness is compelled to come closer and closer until it can no longer hide from the truth. What the darkness does not realize is that, by drawing near to you, it is not gaining control over you, it is losing control over itself. The more it lingers, the more it must confront its own internal contradictions. It cannot escape because it doesn't want to. Your light, your presence, is a revelation it cannot avoid. It is as though, in the light you carry, the darkness finds itself standing face to face with its own reflection. And that reflection is one it cannot deny. In your stillness, in your unwavering truth, the darkness is forced to reckon with its own emptiness, its own lies, and its own ultimate failure. This is the true victory, not in defeating the darkness, but in standing so firm in your light that it becomes inevitable for the darkness to be exposed. It cannot run, it cannot hide, and it does not want to. It is drawn to you, not because it wishes to destroy you, but because it is desperate to understand you. And in that desperate search, it is left unable to deny the truth of your existence. The power of your light is not in how loudly you speak, nor in how hard you fight. It is in your ability to simply be. And in that being, the darkness is undone. You do not need to chase after the shadows, for they are already drawn to you. You do not need to fear their presence, for your light cannot be overcome. The darkness is only powerful as long as it remains hidden. But when it stands in the light, when it is forced to confront the truth, it is powerless. And that is where your true power lies, not in your ability to defeat the darkness, but in your ability to stand in the light, unyielding, unshaken, and unmovable. The darkness cannot escape, and more importantly, it doesn't want to. And that, my dear, is the ultimate victory. This moment, this encounter between you and the darkness, is not a coincidence. It is not some random clash between two opposing energies, nor is it an accident of fate. No. This is a divine appointment. A celestial alignment that was written long before your first breath. You did not wander into this battle by mistake. You were sent. You were chosen. Every step you have taken, every pain you have endured, every spiritual wound you have survived, it has all led you here. You were born for this. You were called for this. And now, the moment you felt echoing in your soul for a lifetime is finally revealing its purpose. You have always known you were different. You've sensed, in moments of silence, that there was something greater pulling at your spirit. Others called it sensitivity. Some called it strangeness. But deep down, you recognized it for what it truly was, divine preparation. Because you, chosen one, are not here by accident. You are what some call an earth angel, a vessel of light walking among shadows. Not to fight with fists or fury, but to illuminate with presence and purity. You were never meant to destroy the darkness. You were sent to reveal it. To expose the illusion. To stand in truth so completely that the shadows no longer have any place to hide. This is not a war in the traditional sense. It is a revelation. A spiritual unveiling. The encounter between you and the enemy is not simply a collision, it is a mirror, held up by heaven itself, forcing both light and darkness to see clearly, perhaps for the first time. And that is why this moment is so sacred. Because when truth meets illusion, when essence confronts deception, something profound takes place. A transformation. Not through violence or chaos, but through unshakable presence. The power you carry is not in what you say, or even in what you do, it is in who you are. You are a living revelation. And that is why the darkness has been drawn to you, not to defeat you, but because it cannot resist what it doesn't understand. The enemy has tried everything. Manipulation. Seduction. Fear. But you have seen through it all. You do not flinch. You do not fall. You simply stand. And in your stillness, something ancient begins to shift. The game ends. The illusion breaks. And the truth steps forward. Because what you carry is not just knowledge, it is spiritual memory. A knowing that goes deeper than thought. You are not confronting the darkness to punish it. You are confronting it because you are the only one who can hold a mirror without trembling. And in that mirror, the darkness sees its own decay. The lies it has spoken begin to collapse under the weight of your silent truth. This isn't just about you. It never was. What is unfolding here is a cosmic unveiling. A holy disruption of the old order. And your role in it is not that of a warrior, but of a witness. A witness to the fact that light never needed to conquer darkness, it only needed to shine. Because once it does, the darkness is exposed. And what is exposed can no longer dominate. What is revealed can no longer deceive. This is why you were sent. To stand in the place where others fled. To shine in the space where others dimmed. To bring a truth so clear, so ancient, so powerful, that even the darkness cannot pretend it does not see. And it is here, in this encounter, that the scripture becomes not just a verse, but a living reality. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1 verse 5. This is not just a comforting thought, it is a spiritual law. It is the law written into your DNA. You were never meant to run. You were never meant to bow. You were meant to stand in the center of the storm and let your light do what no weapon ever could, transform. Not with aggression, not with argument, but with undeniable, immutable essence. That is why this encounter feels so overwhelming. It is not a battle between enemies, it is a moment of revelation between what has always been and what is finally awakening. You are not here to conquer. You are here to witness. You are not here to destroy. You are here to unveil. And the unveiling is not only for the darkness, it is also for you. So that you can finally see yourself as heaven sees you, a radiant, unshakable embodiment of God's truth. Yes, the darkness is drawn to you. But not because you are weak. Not because you are vulnerable. It comes because you carry what it cannot counterfeit, light with no agenda, truth without arrogance, power without pride. And that light reveals everything. Not to shame. Not to condemn. But to cleanse. To awaken. To restore. This is your mission, not to control or crush, but to walk so fully in your divine essence that even the lost are given the chance to remember who they are. Even the deceiver is confronted with the undeniable reality that love exists, real, holy, powerful love, that doesn't need to shout or strike. It simply is. So no, this is not a coincidence. This is not a temporary test. This is not just another hard season. This is a cosmic encounter. A pre-written appointment between you and the forces that once thought they owned the night. And as you stand in this moment, remember, you do not have to fight to win. You only have to remain. You only have to be. Because the one who carries the light does not need to raise a sword. The light itself is the sword. And in the presence of that kind of truth, every lie begins to unravel. Every mask begins to fall. And every false empire begins to crumble. You were chosen for this. You were sent for this. And now, you're walking it out, not as a warrior with wounds, but as a messenger with glory. The darkness cannot overcome the light. And because the light lives in you, it never will. There comes a moment in every earth angel's journey when the mission shifts, not from light to darkness, but from empathy to wisdom. That moment is now. Because you've spent so long carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. You've looked into broken souls and believed you were sent to save them. But the truth is simpler, holier, and far more powerful. You were not sent to be drained. You were sent to reflect. You are not a sacrifice. You are a force. This realization marks the beginning of your spiritual maturity. It separates the awakened from the overwhelmed. Because there's a lie that's been told to every soul of light, that to be loving is to be consumed. That to care is to carry. But love, real love, does not demand your depletion. It demands your presence, your clarity, your boundary. You were never meant to bleed for the broken. You were meant to show them the truth, and let them choose their own healing. You are a mirror, not a vessel to be emptied. A mirror does not absorb what it reflects. It does not internalize the shadows it reveals. It simply stands, clear and unwavering, showing things as they are. That is what you are. You show others who they truly are, but you do not become them. You reflect light, even when surrounded by darkness, but you do not allow that darkness to seep into your soul. And this, chosen one, is your sacred warning. Because too many like you have fallen not to the enemy's sword, but to emotional erosion. To the silent, subtle draining of their divine energy in the name of compassion. But empathy without boundaries is not holiness, it is self-destruction. You were never asked by God to trade your soul in exchange for someone else's redemption. That's not salvation. That's martyrdom. And martyrdom is not your assignment. Your light is not meant to be diminished. It is meant to be amplified. It is a flame placed in you by the Creator, not to warm the unrepentant while you freeze, but to ignite others who are ready to awaken. You do not need to keep the company of chaos just to prove your love. You do not have to explain your loyalty to people who only seek your energy and never your truth. There is no virtue in spiritual exhaustion. Heaven does not require your depletion. You are not here to be swallowed whole by the problems of those who refuse to evolve. You are here to remain rooted in your truth, to protect your divine essence, and to let your presence do the work that words never could. When the broken see you standing tall, not drained, not weeping, not unraveling, they see a version of themselves that they could become. And that vision alone can begin the healing they must choose for themselves. There is a line in your spirit now, a holy boundary drawn by God Himself. It says, "This is where I stand. I am available to reflect your truth, not to absorb your pain." That is not cruelty. That is sacred clarity. The enemy would love for you to believe that detachment is unkind. That holding your energy is selfish. But wisdom whispers otherwise. It says, protect the sanctuary of your soul. Because once your light is dimmed, there is no one left to guide the way. Even Christ, in His divine compassion, stepped away from the crowds to pray, to replenish, to reset. He did not let the needs of others steal His connection to the Father. And neither should you. You are not the source. You are the reflection. The bridge. The signpost. But the journey belongs to them. Yes, you carry empathy. Yes, you love deeply. Yes, your heart aches for the wounded, even the ones who wound you. But you must know this now, your responsibility ends where your identity begins. You are not the healer. You are the mirror that shows them what healing could look like, if they choose it. Do not let the enemy seduce you into overextending. Into thinking that by giving more, you become more. That by burning brighter, you make them better. You don't. You simply vanish. And your absence leaves a hole in a world already too full of darkness. The goal was never to disappear. The goal was to remain intact. This is where your spiritual authority begins. When you stop begging people to rise. When you stop offering your soul as currency for connection. When you realize that you can love someone and still walk away. That you can be kind and still say no. That you can believe in their potential and still protect your peace. Your energy is divine. It is not for sale. It is not a negotiation. It is a gift from heaven, and it is sacred. So protect it. Protect it with boundaries. With wisdom.